He has never seen a sunrise. He has never seen his mother's face. He has never seen a single word on a single page of a single book. He was born completely blind, and at the age of 22, he opened an acceptance letter from Harvard University. He could not read it himself. His mother read it to him, and when she got to the word congratulations, she could not continue because she was crying too hard. This is Adam's story, and it will make you question every excuse you have ever made in your life. Adam was born in a small city to a family of modest means. His parents were told early that their son would never see, that he would face a world built entirely around vision, road signs, books, screens, faces, and he would navigate all of it in permanent darkness. They were advised, gently, to have realistic expectations for his future. His mother heard that advice and decided to completely ignore it. From the moment Adam could speak, she read to him, every night, without fail. History, science, stories, poetry. She read everything she could find for as long as he wanted to listen. She described the world to him in words so vivid that Adam built an entire universe inside his mind, more detailed and more colorful, he would later say, than most sighted people ever bother to construct. At school, Adam faced what every blind child in a mainstream classroom faces, a system that was not designed for him, surrounded by peers who did not always understand him. He had to work 3 times as hard as every other student just to access the same material. Textbooks had to be converted to Braille, lectures had to be recorded, exams had to be administered separately with a reader in a different room. Every single day was harder than it needed to be. Adam did it anyway, every single day. At 16, Adam heard a documentary about Harvard University playing on the radio. Not watched, heard. He lay in bed listening to a professor describe what it meant to study there, the ideas, the debates, the collision of brilliant minds from every corner of the world. And Adam made a decision so large it almost felt like a joke. He was going to apply to Harvard. When he told his school counselor, the counselor was quiet for a moment, then carefully, professionally said, "Adam, Harvard accepts less than 4% of sighted applicants with perfect grades and unlimited resources. You should think about what is realistic for someone in your situation." Someone in your situation. Adam went home that evening. He sat with his mother. He told her what the counselor had said. His mother was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "His situation and your situation are not the same thing. His situation has a ceiling. Yours does not." Adam never forgot those words. He kept them like a compass for the next 6 years. What followed was 6 years of work that most people, sighted people, people with every advantage, would have found overwhelming. Adam learned to use screen reading software to access academic papers and textbooks, technology that was helpful but imperfect, that mispronounced words and misread formatting, that required hours of patience to extract what a sighted student could skim in minutes. He taught himself to memorize at a level that stunned his teachers. Without the ability to scan notes quickly, every piece of information had to be absorbed completely the first time. He joined the school debate team, where his blindness meant he could not read opponent arguments in real time, so he learned to listen at a depth nobody else in the room possessed. He became the best debater in his school, then his region. He learned to play the piano entirely by ear, performing at school concerts while his classmates read sheet music he could not see. He volunteered at a center for children with disabilities, teaching, mentoring, showing younger children that the word impossible was a suggestion, not a sentence. and every evening his mother read to him, still, all the way through his teenage years into his early 20s, because some foundations are built one bedtime story at a time. When the application opened, Adam sat at his computer with his screen reader, and for 3 weeks he crafted the most important essay of his life. He wrote about what it meant to build a world inside your mind when the outside one is dark. He wrote about his mother's voice. He wrote about the counselor's words and what he had chosen to do with them. Then he submitted it, and he waited. The email arrived on a Thursday morning in April. Adam heard the notification on his screen reader. He called his mother into the room. He asked her to read it to him. She opened the email. She began reading. "Dear Adam, it is my honor and privilege to inform you that the admissions committee has admitted you to Harvard University's class of—" She stopped. Adam heard her stop. He heard her breathing change. He said, "Mom, keep reading." She could not. She was crying too hard to speak. And in that silence, in the sound of her mother's tears, Adam understood everything the email said without hearing another word. He had done it. The boy who had never seen a sunrise, the boy whose counselor had spoken of ceilings, the boy whose mother had read to him every single night for 18 years, had been accepted to Harvard University, one of the most competitive academic institutions in the history of human civilization. And he had earned every single letter of that acceptance. Adam went to Harvard. He graduated. He went on to build a career advising organizations on accessibility and inclusion, helping to redesign the world that was not built for him so that it might work better for the millions of others who face it in the dark. He once said in a speech that stopped a room of Harvard graduates completely silent, "I never saw the obstacles, literally, and I think that gave me an advantage nobody talks about. When you cannot see the wall, sometimes you walk straight through it." When you cannot see the wall, sometimes you walk straight through it. I want you to sit with that for a moment, because most of us spend so much time staring at the obstacles in our path that we forget we could simply decide not to see them, not to be blind to reality, but to be so focused on the destination that the wall becomes irrelevant. Adam did not achieve what he achieved despite his blindness. He achieved it with a focus, a memory, a depth of listening, and a relationship with his mother's voice that his blindness made possible. Your limitation is not your liability. It might be, if you let it, your greatest asset. Adam let it, and Harvard opened its doors. If Adam's story gave you something today, share it with one person who needs to be reminded that their circumstances do not determine their ceiling. And if you're a parent watching this, share it with your child, because Adam's story begins not with Harvard. It begins with a mother who refused to set limits on what her son could become. Every single day on NeverQuitTV, a new story, a new proof. Subscribe and never miss one. Tell me in the comments, what wall have you been staring at that you could simply decide to walk through? I read every single one. This is NeverQuitTV. See you soon.